Hey everyone, this is Kirk here again at Option Alpha, and in this video I'm going to go through our new portfolio analyzer that we just released this weekend. Now all the credit goes to Jack and the dev team because they crushed it on this one. This has been a hotly requested feature for a long time, and I really enjoyed the way that they put this together. So this is how it works. Inside of your Option Alpha platform, you just simply go to your positions. You'll see there's a new tab in your positions and it's called Analyze. And Analyze does exactly what it sounds like. It gives you the ability to now do full-fledged portfolio analysis. And we do it a little bit different than everybody else because we don't just show you the P&L of your portfolio, potentially even if they show you that on other platforms. Now we've integrated this, of course, with bots and with the ability to include tags and exclude tags, as well as different symbols. So you really have so much control and power at your fingertips to do whatever type of analysis you want. Now here's how it works. Inside of here, you can of course go through different days or timelines like 6 months, 90 days, year to date, 1 year, 3 years, etc. Once you do that, you can then start filtering for things that are important for you to start looking at. So for example, if you want to look at just your live trades versus your paper trades, you can just toggle quickly back and forth between those. The other thing you can do here, and actually let me just stop right there and say, once you have that toggle on, you'll see that all the metrics on the right-hand side and all the graphs and all the information down below, which I'll go through here in a second, it all changes as you simply toggle new information. So as you give the analyzer new information to work with, it reformats everything and changes all of your data that's being displayed. So here, for example, if you went through your live trades year to date, you can see your closed P&L, you can see all of your important metrics. These are going to be your position averages on the right-hand side. So your risk, your wins, your average win, your average loss, average entry, probability of profit since we started tracking this basically in March 2023. So this is about the average probability of profit for trades that you got into. The average days to expiration that you entered positions, so were you entering positions 40 days out or 20 days out, and the number of days held. So this is really critical and super cool to watch these numbers here change as you start to analyze your own data and see what works. Are you entering trades and then holding them the whole time? Are you entering trades far out and holding them, half the time or just a week? Really important data there. Now inside the actual graphs, you can see that we broke out all of your strategies that you're looking at for whatever toggles or filters you put in place. And you can see here all of the different strategies that you have worked with since then. And so you can actually see which strategies were contributing to your success or which strategies were holding you back from that. And what I think is super cool about this is not only can you just look at these numbers here and see, for example, we had 305 positions that were iron condors, but you can actually click to view these exact positions. And so now you can start to deep dive into these positions and start to learn, what happened for those types of positions. Were, is it just random that we had like lots of small profits and a couple of big losers? Or for the example here of short call spreads, do we have, some very small profits and lots of big ones that kind of turned against us? So what does that mean for your portfolio? How can you start to investigate this and see how you can make changes to your strategies? Well, another cool thing we have here is, of course, the ability to now filter all of this again by the symbols that were traded under these filters. So you can see from my portfolio, for example, TLT was the biggest contributor to the portfolio, which is actually kind of weird because it used to be down quite some time and then it came back up. So TLT was the biggest contributor. And then the biggest drag on the portfolio recently has been GLD. So GLD has not traded well for some of my bots. So that's been the biggest drag. And then you've got some other things in the middle, a couple trade ideas, mostly some core positions that have worked out pretty well for the portfolio. Okay, so that's really cool. You can see your live trading stats. But what's super cool now is you can dig into any particular symbol that you want. So let's dig into, let's say, I think our core contributor was TLT. So let's look at TLT. And we can actually just filter all of our positions that we have just for TLT. So this would be across all bots because we don't have any bot filters here. So we could filter by a specific bot, but this would be across all bots that we're trading any positions in TLT. And you can see I just simply filtered to include just those positions in TLT. You can include multiple positions like DIA and FXI and OIH and USO and XLU, whatever you want. You include all those and then you can see basically summarize stats for just those positions. And again, same thing would happen here on the right-hand side. You would see different metrics for just those things that you have filtered. And now you can see, okay, what are the best strategies for these tickers You can see the different symbols here and how much they've contributed to the portfolio or not. You can also filter by tags. Now this, I gotta be honest with you, is truly the most powerful thing that you can do. I've said for a long time now that you gotta use tags in your trading. You have to use tags in your bots and automations, because eventually, I've said this for a long time now, we would get to this point where you can now analyze based on tags. And so if you haven't used tags, now is a really good time to start using tags inside your bots and automations, because now what you can do is you can filter all positions by tags. So here's an example that I posted in the community, and I think it's still a good use case for why tags are important. In a lot of my bots, I like to tag the state or the market environment that the position was entered into. So if the market was in an uptrend, a downtrend, if technicals were overbought or technicals were oversold, because I knew I wanted to analyze this type of data moving forward. So here you can see that if I look at, for example, strong uptrend, you can see that my results for strong uptrend have not been good year to date. Basically, all the positions that I've gotten into that were entered in a strong uptrend, net did not work out. Now that's interesting because most of these positions are short put spreads. We have a lot of positions, 103 of the 114 positions were short put spreads. So why didn't those positions work out? Was the market too strong and maybe was overbought and then turned around? These are questions that I can now start to investigate and figure out and start to answer and start to shift my strategy around. But you can see that most of these positions net did not work out this year, because when it was entered in a strong uptrend, even though I entered short put spreads, which again, like on the surface would seem like the most logical thing to do. Now, if I actually take this filter off and I go in here and I just look at positions that were entered in an uptrend or a weak uptrend, so things that I define like technicals and moving averages and moving average crossovers and market breadth, if it was entered in a weak uptrend or just a regular uptrend but not a super strong uptrend as I define them, I did significantly better. So same number of positions, roughly the same number of positions, great win rate, did have a nice big drawdown at one point, but then portfolio recovered. So maybe that was a couple positions that went really bad. And most of these were actually iron condors. So this is significantly different. I did better in an uptrend or weak uptrend doing wide iron condors than I did in a strong uptrend trying to basically play that momentum move with short put spreads. Now, I don't know if this actually means I'm going to shift my strategy or change it, but this is really good information to help me understand basically what's working and what's not working in my portfolio. Now you can combine this, of course, and start to investigate, okay, what other things did I do? So let's look at FXI and GLD with just these particular trends. And you can see maybe these symbols contributed to any of that volatility that my portfolio had in those symbols. Obviously, GLD was the big one here. GLD had some pretty big losses at some point in April where markets turned around on some of these iron condor positions. And so that really kind of contributed to that big down move. So that's where you can start to do a lot of deep dive analysis here that you really truly can't get anyplace else. So I really hope you guys enjoy all of this. I know there's a lot here at your fingertips, but please continue to play with this, continue to learn and develop your strategy. Use tags and your bot filtering, your strategy filtering to see what works and what doesn't, so you can make smart, intelligent changes to your portfolio moving forward.